ritual that Allison will be bringing us in with the candles. We have a special speaker coming to give a very short, what we call a vort in kind of the Rabbi's Tish world, to offer a few words of Torah and just bring up our joy and our love for the evening. We're going to begin, though, on page 1 with Ashrei for the Mincha service.
Ashrei yoshvei v'techa u'dialu chasela Ashrei shekach lo Ashrei shadonai Elohav tila leDavid ramimcha lo ha'melech v'ajim Kadolai hadak v'odecha 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 Yuchlam v'odecha 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 Nichol lecha Yisrael v'yatei b'tei chayedecha M'spir lecha cheratzon zayim Tilat Adonai yedaber pi Vivarech kol basar Shem kodsho le'olam va'ed V'anachnu nevarech ya Me'atav yad olam Hallelujah. We rise in body or in spirit as we offer the Amidah for our Mincha service. Page 3b we'll begin together, skipping over the kaddish on page 4 and continuing silently pages 5 through 9. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibur v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol v'Zocher Chastei Avot ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע מכלכל חיים בחסד וחיי מתים ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים עד הקדוש שמך הקדוש קדשים בכל יום יוחסלה ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש Ose shalom b'meromav. Ose shalom b'meromav. Uyase shalom. Uyase shalom. Uyase shalom. Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oh, say shalom. B'meromav. Oh, say shalom. B'meromav. Continue with Aleinu, page 11. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום, והשיבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחתנו. אלוקינו נגדך וזכם לבכם. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Mourners and others observing your side, please enable your voices as we continue with the Mourner's Kaddish, page 12. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah. Yalmad, Yivrak, Yirutei, V'yamlich Malchutei. V'chayechon, V'yamechon, V'chaye Dechol Beit Yisrael. V'agala, U'vizman Kari, V'yimru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach, Ve'olam Umei Omaya. Yiparach, V'yishtabach, V'yipar, Tromam V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shmei Dekudusha, Brichu, Ve'elah Minkol, Birchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata, V'nechemata, Da'amiran Ve'alma, V'yimru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu V'Kol Yisrael V'Yimru Amen. Yaseh Shalom B'Ramah Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Kol Yisrael V'Yimru Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So good to see everybody. We are going to get started with our Kabbalat Shabbat service. Is that okay? We're good to go with that? It's an interesting time. I don't know if you feel it a little bit. We're done with the high holidays, but we're just about to start Sukkot. So Sukkot is not a high holiday. It's one of the Shalosh Regalim, the 3 pilgrimage days. We finished the Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, and we are cleansed, but we're still at the end of the Torah. We haven't yet made it to even the last parsha. We're on the second to last parsha, Ha'azinu, that we'll be reading tomorrow. And so there's kind of this in-between space, which is a really interesting space to be. Rabbi Blesson beautifully talked about those gates, right? The gates that are open. And they kept closing on us, but not really, right? They're always closing, but they're not really closing. They always have time open. And the tradition says that all the way to Hoshana Rabbah, which is this coming Sunday. No, 2 Sundays from now. The end of the Sukkot holiday, there is what's called the Great Salvation, the day of the Great Salvation, in which we destroy our lulav and etrog, we beat the willow branches, and that's what the tradition says is the close of the gates. They're finally open, we get our last prayers in. Except what Rabbi Blesson taught us on the holidays, which it goes all the way to Hanukkah. So there's always this in-between space that we are in. And what I think the tradition is trying to tell us is that the truth about the in-between is us. The gates are open. They're there. We just have to push them just a little bit, ever so slightly. But we're the ones who are staying away from them. We're the ones who are not going through. And so this is that in-between time where we get to sit and reflect on what is our life about, where do we want to go with it, and know that it really is based on our footsteps forward. We could always feel like we're stuck, or we could feel like we want to move forward. And that's where we are in our calendar. And I look forward to moving forward with you as we make our way through these holidays, through the end of the Torah, starting the Torah over again, and then eventually we'll make it to Hanukkah. Page 13, Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moachem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei malachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu ni leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We continue page 15, lifting up our voices. Lechu niranana ladonai. Let's sing together. Lechu niranana ladonai. Naria litzuri sheinu. נקדמה פניו בתודה מזמירות נרי הלא ידידי כי אל גדול אדוני ומלך גדול על כל אלוהים אשר במקרים. בואו נשתחווה ונרחד לפני אחד ונבשנו כנראינו ואנחנו אמר איתו וצוידו 40 שנה אקוט בדור ואומר המתועה לבבם והם לא ידעו דרכי אשר נשבעתי באפי אם יבואו אל מנוחתי ידידי Page 16. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו, ספרו בגויים כבודו, בכל העמים נפלאותיו. כי גדול אדוני ומולה מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים הידי, כי כל אלוהי העמים אלילים, ואדוני שמיים עשה, הוד והדר לפניו, עוז ותפארת במקדשו. אבו לאדוני משפחות עמים, אבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז, אבו לאדוני כבוד שמו. שאו מנחה ובואו לחצרותיו, עדה השתחוו לאדוני בהדרת קודש, חילו מפניו כל הארץ. אמרו בגויים אדוני מלך, אף תיכון תבל בל תימוד. ידין עמים במישרים, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ. ירם הים ומלוא ודאי וכל אשר בו אז ירננו כל עצי יער לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ ישפוט תבל בצדק ועמים באמונתו Adonai Malach Tagil Haaretz, page 17. Ismechu im Rabbi v'nabel fazivat. Wavei Adonai sinura shomer nashot chasidav miyad rishayim yatzileim ulezaru ala tzadik uliyishrei lev simcha Simchu tzadikim b'Adonai v'hodu l'zecher kodsho. Mizmor shir Rai shir chadash ki niflaot asa, page 18, Oshia Elohim. Zameru l'Adonai b'chinor v'kol zimra b'chatzotzrot v'kol shofar Hariu lifnei hamelech Adonai Zameru l'Adonai b'chinor v'kol zimra b'chatzotzrot v'kol shofar Hariu lifnei hamelech Adonai Iram hayam umelo tevel v'yoshveva narodim chauchav yachad harim yiranenu lifnei Adonai kiva lishbot haaretz nishbot tevel b'tzedek ve'amim meisharim Iram hayam umlo tevel v'yoshveva Narodim chauchav yachad Adonai Malach Yigizu Amim. Page 19. Yosef Kurim Tanu Taretz. Adonai B'Tzion Negadu V'Ramu Agor Amin Yodu Shimcha Gadu V'Nara Kadushu. Pius Melech Mishpat Ayevata Konanta Misharim. Mishpat Tzaka B'Yakov Ata Sita Rom Nudu Yishach. Hallelujah. Odoni Tamus Romimu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Romimu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Vishtachavu le'akutsho, vishtachavu le'akutsho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Romimu, romimu, Adonai Eloheinu. Romimu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Vishtachavu le'akutsho, vishtachavu le'akutsho, ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Romimu, romimu, Adonai Eloheinu. Romimu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Romimu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Romimu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu. Romimu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. Romimu, 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 Adonai Eloheinu. We rise together for Psalm 29, page 20. Mizmor leDavid, Avul Adonai ben Elim, Avul Adonai, Kavod va'oz ayedai, Avul Adonai kevod shemo, Ishtachavu Adonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai Ba'koach hayidai, Kol Adonai be'adar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vayishaber Adonai eder ze alvanon, Vayarkideim kemo egel Levanon, Vesirion kemo ven remi Maidai Kol Adonai Chotzev Lavotish Kol Adonai Yachil Midbar Yachil Adonai Midbar Kaddish Kol Adonai Cholel Ayalot Vayechesof Yearot Uvechalo Kulo Merkavod Aidai Adonai Lama Buyashav Yeshev Adonai Melech Leolam Adonai Os Le'amo Yiten Adonai Varech Amo Vashalom Yedidai Dai 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 Ainidai Amadai Ainidai Dai Dai Yedidai Dai 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 Dai.
Please be seated. So as I said earlier, we are celebrating Pride Shabbat tonight. Sunday, we'll have Pride Parade and Festival that we'll be able to march in the middle of Atlanta and to be together and to celebrate the inclusion of people that should have never been excluded. But they were, and so now we get the opportunity to do tikkun, right? To change, to heal, to repair. And so it's interesting, but we live in an interesting time. When I started here, I had learned about some of the difficult history that this congregation had in regards to gays and lesbians. This was at a time when the other letters in the list weren't even a consideration. But just dealing with gays and lesbians, this congregation had a very difficult past, difficult history with that. So I really felt it was important to lean in to this inclusion. So we created a LGBTQ inclusion task force. Charles, remember those early years? You were my partner there in those early years. It was really meaningful work. And we brought the quilts, the AIDS quilts here, and we had special Havdalah services, and we had people speak. And it was really meaningful. And we marched proudly downtown when the Jewish community was really becoming embraced and embracing all these incredible festivities and places in which we want to yell out that we embrace, we hold, and that gays and lesbians and transgender and bisexual and all the other different permutations that the spectrum of life gives us, that they are all welcome and they are all important. But it was very interesting early on when I started this work because our congregation has, it has its share of percentage population of gays and lesbians and transgender as any other place does, large congregation. The statistics always work out. Remember, I learned that in college. Statistics are always right, always. And so it always works out. And so I had the opportunity to call some of them into my office and have conversations. And I heard a really interesting thing that I didn't know what to do with. Some of them, especially older members of that community, we're talking about being post-gay. And I didn't know what that meant. What I ended up learning is that they were feeling included. They were feeling included. They were part of the community. Their family accepted them. And so they didn't feel they needed to march anymore. They didn't feel that they needed to be part of any of these festivities. They didn't feel that this evening is meaningful in any way, because nobody bothers them and they don't bother anybody else. And that's really how they felt. And so it became actually very difficult in the beginning. I was blessed to have Charles or Alan Landis and others who said, Lawrence, we see that there's still issues going on and we want to be part of it. But it wasn't smooth sailing all the way through, even from the people you would hope would have been my partner in that. And as I've become more involved in this issue, in this fight, in this change in the world, in this healing, I've realized that it is amazing, the inclusion. Gay men and women could be married today in this country. That's incredible. That's wonderful. Right? There's so much more inclusion, so much more we're seeing examples of loving relationships loving relationships, which are based on love and not bias and stereotypes in the media. And these are wonderful things. But then I'm also challenged with knowing that every 45 seconds, as I've learned, somebody who is struggling with their sexual orientation or their gender identity tries to hurt themselves in this country. That is difficult. And then I also had to remember of the bubble I live in. This is something, you heard my Yom Kippur sermon, very politically charged. This is something that all political movements must realize, especially the left-leaning ones. There's a wide country in this country. Did I say that right? There's a wide land. I don't know what I'm saying. There's a wide space in this country. And although we might live in Atlanta and enjoy the progressive nature, or Los Angeles or New York, there are millions of people throughout this country in lots of areas. And they don't have the community like you or I have. They don't have people accepting and welcoming them. And so on the world that we live in now, especially one in which you don't even have to be in Atlanta anymore to be part of our congregation, thanks to all those who are online right now with us, we know that our reach is farther than it's ever been. And the words we say and the inclusion that we hold can get to them, to get to those people who are really alone, who are really feeling like their only option is to hurt themselves. And that's a real gift. That is a real gift and a responsibility that we have. Shabbat is about a taste of the world to come. And look how many entities, beings we invite into this space. Angels, brides, Shabbos queens, we invite them all. We invite them all into this space, and that's what makes the world to come. It's right here in Kabbalat Shabbat. So the only way we're going to get to that redeemed world is if we put our arms out wide and we welcome others in. And by bringing them in, we have the ability to take Shabbat out of this taste of the world to come and actually bring our planet into the world to come. Let's continue with Lecha Dodi, page 21.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Ishmianu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad L'shem u'tiferet v'litila Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki mekor haberacha Merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshava tchila Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Mikdash melech ir melucha Kumitzei mitoch hafecha Rav lach shevet b'mekabacha Vehu yachamol alaychem la Lecha Dodi likrat kala Pnei Shabbat nekabela Idnari me'afar kumi Livshi bigdei tifartecha mi Aliyad ben Ishai beit alachmi korva el nafshi ge'ala lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Hitoreri kiva orekumi ori Uri shir daberi kevod Adonai alayich nigla Lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Lo tevoshi velo tikami ma tishtochechi uma temi bachi chesu ani eami venivneta irati la lecha dodi likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela ve'ayulim shisa shosaich verachaku kol mevalaich yasis alayich Eloaich kimsos chatan al kala lecha dodi ay likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Yaminu smor tifrotzi vet Adonai taritzi al yadish ben parzi ben ismecha ben nagila lecha dodi ay likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Moi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha uvetzola toch emune am segula boi chala lecha dodi ay likrat kala Penei Shabbat nekabela Yaim na 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 yam bye 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 yam bye 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 am bye 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 yam bye 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 I am na na yam na 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 yam da ay may be seated. We continue with the Psalm for Shabbat, page 23. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולשמך העליון, להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, לאסוף את הרסנו בגלות. How awesome are your creations, God, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך, how deep are our thoughts. איש בלעדיו, צדיקת עמי יפרח, balevanon yizke shitulim beveit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvun beseva deshenim merananim leagid ki yashar Adonai tzuri velo avlatabor. Adonai Malaki Lavish, page 24. Lavish Adonai Uzitazar Apti Kuntevo Baltimot Nachol Kisachar Meaz Milamata. Nasune Harot Adonai Nasune Rakulavisu. Edotecha Nimnu Meod Levircha Nava Kodesh Adonai Leorech Yamim. We invite all those who are in mourning or observing Yard sites to rise in body or in spirit as we offer the mourner's kaddish in the middle of page 24. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba ve'alma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael v'agala uvizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam omei almaya yiparach v'yishtabach v'yit'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh Vitadar, Vitalev, Vitalal, Shemei, Nekudsha, Brichu, Le'ela, Min Kol, Birchata, Veshirata, Tushbechata, Venechamata, Amirana, Be'alma, V'yimru, Amen. Yehi Shlama, Rabba, Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'yimru, Amen. Ose Shalom Mimromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Be seated. As we make our way into Mariv, we begin our Shabbat together. So I want to begin by inviting Allison and Charles up to light our candles and to offer some words of reflection at this time.
Hi. It's such an honor to get to be here to celebrate Pride Shabbat in this community. In a moment, Charles and I are going to light the Shabbos candles, special rainbow Shabbos candles for today. And when we light the Shabbos candles every week, we light them to celebrate creation. That's what we celebrate when we mark Shabbat. And I think it's so beautiful that this week, as we light these candles, we can really think about celebrating all of God's creations in all of their variety. It was so beautiful to hear Lawrence talk about intentionally creating space for queer people in this community. I often think about the meaning of light in our tradition. We celebrate light in so many different ways, in so many different moments. It's such a powerful thing. And I hope that this Shabbat, as we light our Shabbos candles in this room or at home, that we can allow the light of these Shabbos candles to illuminate our community and to shed light on those in our community who have always been here, but who maybe didn't feel comfortable really being seen before. We never really know when we look at someone on the outside what's true for them on the inside. So I'd love to take this moment to share with the community that I'm also queer, although you might not guess because I'm marrying a man. But I wanted to share because I think it's important. And when we create space for queer people in our community, we don't always know who we're creating space for, and who in our community might feel more comfortable. So thank you, Lawrence. Thank you, Sam. And turn over to Charles.
Sorry.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav mitzivanu lechadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Standing here with these rainbow candles, it's so appropriate for us now. I'll lead you, if you'll please join me in the blessing for over a rainbow, when we see a rainbow. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zocher habrit v'ne'eman brito v'kayam v'ma'amaro. Blessed, beautiful are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who remembers the covenant, is faithful to your covenant, and keeps your promise. And please join me in the Shechianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who has kept us in life and preserved us and enabled us to reach this season. Amen.
Thank you to you both for helping to light our community with your light. To offer some words of Torah as we transition into this Shabbat more fully, I want to invite up a dear friend of mine, Rabbi Shulamit Senker, who I first met at the Conservative Yeshiva in Jerusalem. And we were Chavruta partners and got to study together throughout that year. And you've newly moved back down into this community and have been joining us over these last several weeks. And so we're excited to hear some of your Torah tonight.
I'm so delighted. And I thank you and the congregation for the opportunity. This rabbi and I had coffee yesterday, and we talked about how there really are no coincidences. Many of us have felt places in our lives where it just doesn't, it's not logical that things happen, and then they do. And I wanted to just mention where we are in space and time and Jewish time. As you mentioned earlier, we've just finished almost not 24 hours ago saying Uteshuvah, utefila, utzedakah, mavirin et roa hagzero. So I wanted to speak for just a few minutes about teshuvah. Not the teshuvah that we talked about on Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, and we will continue to speak about, but the teshuvah in the simplest meaning of the Hebrew verb lashuv. It is to return. I've got a few more years on you, and so I'm not going to go into all the miles and all the places and all the opportunities and challenges that I've had since I left Atlanta. Yes, I'm a native Atlantan who had dared to leave the city in 1905. And I went to Denver and Palatine, that's the one by Chicago, and then Chicago by the lake, and then Skokie. Oh, and by the way, I fell in love with someone who was of my same gender after having married, given birth to two wonderful children who are now 45 and 47, and divorced and married again, and took myself with him on that adventure out of Atlanta. And it wasn't a good relationship, and we do the best we can, but what really was happening is that I was discovering a part of myself that I had never given attention to or voice to. And left to my own resources, it never occurred to me that it might be something about me that I was seeking. So between Chicago and Skokie, I came out. I fell in love. And I took my Jewish self into the city seeking a Jewish environment where I could also be lesbian. I was all of 40, 45. But my friends tease me everywhere, "You're all Jewish all the time." Well, yes. And so I needed both. And in those days, it was not done that you would wander into even a Reform temple, really, back then. A synagogue formed in the 70s called Or Chadash, a new light. And some Jewish men wanted to have community, so they started having Shabbos dinner together. And then gradually some women joined, and then years later, I wandered up the steps. That part of my life has many, many more chapters, but I really just want to emphasize today how that need to blend my identity and my love had to be integrated into my life as a Jew. You see, I grew up at Beth Jacob in Orthodoxy, and I moved to Shereth Israel in conservative Judaism, and then I got divorced. And then I moved out of the city, and everywhere I went, my base was Judaism. But Judaism didn't have a place to practice that part of my life. Eventually, I became president of that organization, and we used to reminisce. We would sit around and say, what do we see in the future? Let's look at 2020 or 2022. There will be a time when gays and lesbians and bisexual and transgendered folks, they'll be welcome in mainstream congregations. It will be fine, and we will all live happily ever after. But I'm here to say, having lived through decades, my worry at the time was, how am I going to find other like living folks? If we all look the same, and there's a woman in the Kehillah, how are we going to find each other? Do we need to find each other? I'll leave us to ponder that question also. But the fact is that it didn't just happen that everybody is happily ever after. Since those days, I have lived in Israel. I studied with Rabbi Sam, and those were just miraculous times. I couldn't be satisfied with that because my eldest grandson was just going to be bar mitzvahed. So I left Israel, moved to St. Louis, and stayed there as long as I could before I had to come back to Atlanta, to return with all those adventures and all those experiences. And oh, by the way, I did study 5 years in Skokie to become a rabbi and to learn Talmud and to find the joy in every nugget of the readings we did, which I hope to continue. But the fact is, I left in my 30s and I've returned in my later years, still full of wonder and questions and adventures and joy at having come west of I-400 or Georgia 400, away from Toco Hills. I'm relocating soon at Zabin Tower and hopefully here. And it's a whole new and old set of friends and sets of activities and sets of relationships and connections that I have been thankful every day since I landed August 2nd and have discovered old Atlanta and new Atlanta and the explosion of Jewish Atlanta that was never imagined when I left. For life's outlook to bring us strides beyond what we were in 1985. Baruch Hashem, we are evolving. There is some work left to be done. When I lived in Missouri, I worked in the Capitol for the rights of transgendered youth and the rights of senior citizens to be allowed visiting rights with their partners who were not comfortable being out. As much as we know it's a better world than it was, there's still wonderful work to be done. But I think the most important takeaway for all of us is that there is a place in our congregations and in our communities for us of any age to stand up and stand out and stand tall and let fear fly away like the bluebird. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for your beautiful words. And for all of the light that we brought into this Shabbat, may we take it with us into the world as we sit in it in these 25 hours. And let us too stand together as we enter into our Ma'ariv service, page 28. Baruchu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam eved. May be seated. Baruch et Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bivro mari varim mochma poteir sherim. ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני המריב הרבים. Page 29. אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת. May we all find the love and compassion within our tradition and within our communities. Al Kain Adonai Eloheinu, B'shochveinu v'kumenu, when we lie down we wake, living fully as we are, loved and beloved. Kim chaynu ve'orich yameinu v'hem negim amalai. Ve'avatecha al tasim imenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בעיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. והיה אם שמעתי שמצותי אשר אנוכי מצווך היום Adonai Elohechem Emet. Page 32. Emet ve'emuna kol zevekiyam aleinu ki Adonai Eloheinu yizul v'achzam. ומלכותו מרצון קיבלו עליהם משה ובני ישראל, לכנו שירה משמחה רבה ואמרו כולם, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, מלכותך רנו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה, זה לי ואמרו, אדוני מלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר כיפדה אדוני את יעקב וגלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Let's offer the words of the Hashkivenu in English together on the top left-hand side of page 33. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, the sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praised are you, Adonai, who spreads the shelter of peace over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Ufros aleinu sukkah shlomecha, baruch atah Adonai, הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. We rise for Vishamru, page 34. Vishamru b'nei Israel et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ידידי לידי בני ובן בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים בית הארץ וביום השביעי שבת וינפש יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה וילמד יברכירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בהתגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יש מרבה מברך לעולם ומעלמיה יברך וישתבח ויבא ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ויאמרו Amen. Take a few moments of private meditations. We offer the words of the Amidah, page 35b through page 38. Say shalom b'marav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael. Ve'yimeru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'yimeru. Amen. We continue page 47 with our main shalosh. ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישבות ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים ביום השביעי ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבה מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, האל עליון. כל בני שמיים וארץ, מגן אבות מדברו, מחיי מתים ממרו, האל הקדוש שהנה כמוהו, המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו, כי בם רצה להניח להם, כי בם רצה להניח להם, לפניו נעבוד ביראה ופחד, ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד, מעון הברכות. אל ההודעות, אדון השלום, מקדש השבת, מברך שביעי, ומניח בקדושה, לעמד ושני עונג, זכר למעשה וראשית. אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, רצה במנוחתנו, קדשנו במצוותיך, ותן חלקנו בתורתך, צבנו מטובך, ושמחנו משועתך, ותעל ליבנו לעובדך באמת, והנחילנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה וברצון שבת קודשך, וינוחו וישראל מקדשי שמך. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen.
יגדל יקדש שמי רבה, ואלמד יברא קירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ובחונכי לכובד ישראל, והגלה בזמן קריב ימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ומעמיה.
Yitbarach.
יברך ישתבח ויתברך ויתשמע וינשא ויתדע ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה, תמירן מעלמה וימרו, אמן. תקבל צלחון וברכון לכל ישראל, קודם ועונו ישמעיה וימרו, אמן. יש למה רבה בן שמעיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו, אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ויאמרו amen. We have our Kiddush for Shabbat, page 49. Savri Chavirai.
Chaim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yahava uvratzon inchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom tchila lemikra kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבת קודשך ביהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Continue page 51 with Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol latet gedula leotzer breshit shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot v'lo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama shelo sama chelkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu hamonam v'anachnu korim ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שעולה שמיים וזרע היום. Replacing in our hearts today, what are we taking with us into this Shabbat? What do we need out of this moment in time to be present with our full selves, to affix this world with holiness, with love, with compassion. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. We're going to move forward to page 80 as we're still saying the Psalm for the season of repentance. Page 80, Psalm 27. Could I ask, we have our Milledgeville annex of the AA Synagogue on the screen tonight. Could you guys unmute, and would you guys together responsively go back and forth reading page 80, the Psalm 27?
Thank you.
Adonai is my light and my help. Whom shall I fear? Adonai is the strength of my life. Whom shall I dread?
When evildoers withdraw to slander me, when foes threaten, they stumble and fall. Though armies may be arrayed against me, I have no fear. Though wars threaten, I remain steadfast in my faith.
One thing I ask of Adonai, for this I yearn, to dwell in the house of Adonai all the days of my life, to behold God's beauty, to pray in God's sanctuary.
Hiding me in his shrine, safe from peril, God will shelter me beyond the reach of disaster and raise my head high above my enemies.
I will bring God offerings with shouts of joy, singing and chanting praises to Adonai.
Adonai, hear my voice when I call. Be gracious to me and answer me. It is you whom I seek, says my heart. It is your presence that I seek, Adonai.
Do not hide from me. Do not reject your servant. You've always been my help. Don't abandon me. Forsake me not, my God of deliverance.
Though my father and my mother leave me, Adonai will care for me.
Teach me your way, Adonai. Guide me on the right path to confound my oppressors.
Do not abandon me to the will of my foes, for false witnesses have risen against me, purveyors of malice and lies.
Yet I have faith that I shall surely see Adonai's goodness in the land of the living. Hope in Adonai, be strong, take courage, and hope in Adonai.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah.
לולא האמנתי לראות בטוב אדוני בארץ חיים, קווה אל אדוני, חזק ויאמץ ליבך. Take courage and be strengthened, and have hope in Adonai.
I love those two. I tell you. Wish they could just read me bedtime stories every night. It's incredible. All right. It was great sadness that our community suffered the losses last week of Gary Unell, husband of Renee, father to Brian and Hillary, Robert, and to Lauren, and Hannah Lurer, the mother of Talia and Sanford Plavin. May both the Plavin family and the Unell family get the care and love that they need during this time as they remember their loved ones and walk through this very difficult week. We also note the continuing Shloshim period, 30 days after passing, for Saul Charles Schemberg, husband to Carolyn, father to Gary, to Sharon, to Pamela, and to Rabbi Craig, to Alan, and to Merrill. Stephen Alterman, husband to Marcy, brother to Richard and Marty, to Phyllis and Richard, father to Rachel and Sandy, to Daniel and to Joshua. Marilyn Frankenthal, wife to Sheldon, sister-in-law to Betty Bear, Howard Frankenthal, Jenny Scardon, and Stuart and Kim Frankenthal. Mona Mae Goodman, the mother to Philip and Felice, and Khalil Kelly Inney, the brother to Jack, Joseph, to Joyce, Diane, Ava, and Mayor, and father to Nathan. We pray that all of them are getting the strength that they need during this time. We also note the Yurtites tonight of Addie Lefkoff Arnold, a mother of Joe and a relative of Joanne Rosenthal, Ruth Cohen, the wife of Mark Cohn, Sam Fishman, father to Bernice Batch, William Gussoff, father to Barry Gussoff, Aaron Morris Horowitz, husband to Deborah Cohen, Harleen Hankin Mendel, mother to Karen Gartner, Aaron Novick, father to Marcia Jacobson, and Joseph Eisenberg, the father to Sandy Abrams. We also continue to walk with those who come every morning and every evening to our daily prayer service, remembering Walter Hirschberg, Eleanor Sims, Ralph Sachs, Kathy Baumgartner-Scheer, Arno Landy, Rick Goldstein, Doris Copland, Susan Pollock, Frances Poller, Mary Goldstein, Leon Goldstein, Steve Sandusky, Malcolm Minsk, Colonel Donald Gilner, Rosalind Davidson, Sandra Adair, Marvin Silverman, Laura Chavinsky, Jacob Delaboff, Jerry Kotler, Harriet Oxman, Leslie Parker, Dick Eisenberg, David Carl Yarm, Bobby Lax, Rita Tuvlin, David Siegel, Marsha Lynn Moatar, Adrian Cohen, Al Filsuf, Susan Open, and Sharon Hamburger. If I've forgotten anybody, please forgive me, but know that we continue to walk with you as you remember your loved ones. And we will join together offering the words of the Mourner's Kaddish, page 52. Yitgadal, Yitgadash, Rabbi, Be'ama, Divra, Kirute, V'yamlich Malchute, B'chayachon, V'yamechon, B'chaye, the whole Beit Yisrael, Hagala, Uvizman, Kareem, V'yimru, Yehei Shmei, Rabba, Mevorach, Le'olam, U'mei, Omaya, Yiparach, V'yishtabach, V'yipa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitala, Shmei Kudusha, Brehu, Le'ela, Minkol, Birchata, V'shirata, Tush Bechata, V'nechamata, Da'amiran Be'olma, V'yimru, Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Ose Shalom B'mamach Hallelujah Ose Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Thank you, Rabbi Blessing, for leading a beautiful service this evening. Thank you to our guest who spoke tonight, Rabbi Shulamit, to Allison, to Charles. Thank you all so much for your passion, your love, and sharing so much of yourselves and your journey with us. It was really, really meaningful. Thank you to Jerry for passing out our grape juice. We always appreciate that. I'm glad we didn't have to share my root beer, and we actually were able to find grape juice. I was thrilled about that. And to Damone, thank you for keeping us online and moving forward. Just so appreciate it. Tomorrow morning, 9:30 in the morning, our morning service, we have a Torah study with Judy Marks. Surprisingly, I mean, not surprisingly, she's filled with wonderful Torah, but she just taught earlier in the week, and now she's back again teaching, so it's really wonderful that she's stepped up so many times. So she will be here tomorrow, so please join her at 10:30, online or in person. And tomorrow evening is 7 o'clock?
It says 7 on here.
Okay, I guess we're meeting at 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock will be online tomorrow night. Everything else you could come and be with us in person for that. Sukkot holiday is here. Sunday night, Monday night and Tuesday. All services will be in person and online, so feel free to join us any way you would like. We always appreciate having a minion in the space, so please, if you could, if you're able to, we'd love to have you in person. And then we will make our way through the week of Hol HaMoed, and then the following week, we again, Sunday night, Monday will be Shmini Atzeret and Yizkor. So we're back to do Yizkor again, so please join us for that very, very important service. And then Simchat Torah will be Monday night, and Tuesday we'll have Dancing with the Torahs. We'll have all the revelry and fun that we have. It's a real, real special time. So I hope that you'll be with us for that, just a whole week of Sukkot. And yeah, a lot of fun, definitely. And we'll make our way through all the time. Sunday night is 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock in the evening, and then 9:30 in the morning on Monday, 6 o'clock in the evening Monday night, 9:30 in the morning on Tuesday, and then I think it's 7 o'clock Tuesday evening to end the holiday in the right time. And we can go sundown, yeah. Sukkot parties are happening. Hopefully you should receive my emails that went out today. Wonderful Sukkot parties going all over the place. You can also check our website. Look for our the pull-down tab for ARI, the Ahavat Achim Refugee Initiative, and you can find out where all these different Sukkot parties are happening. Here at the synagogue, they're up in East Cobb, they're down in South Atlanta, they're in Sandy Springs. Not so much, but they're close, right? They're close to Roswell. You just have to drive. You don't have to drive this far. But there are some wonderful parties, and you're all welcome to go to any and all of them, and just celebrate Sukkot. Make a welcome kit for a new arriving refugee family. It's a really meaningful opportunity, and just connect with people and do it in your neighborhood. It's really going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you'll participate in that. What am I forgetting? There's so much. Oh my gosh. Didn't I? We are. Oh my gosh. There you go. That's my brain. Yes, there's a wonderful parade on Sunday. I believe that you start gathering at 11, and what was that? It
Steps up at 12:30. It's a 10:30 gathering, but I'm lost. I don't know where it is.
Oh, it's going to be. What's that MARTA station?
Charles will be able to help.
Charles, the Art Center. Is that Civic Center? Yeah, so it ends up at 10th Street into Piedmont Park, and then that's where the festival is. So the march is around the Civic Center and then down around and back up towards 10th Street, and then the festival's in the park. So you just go. There are lots of booths and music and fun things to experience. So please go support. Unfortunately, there are still the fanatic crazies on the side of the road who try to, share their hate. So it's really important to go and to be present and to participate. So please go, and we look forward to seeing you there. What else did I miss?
I think that's good.
We're good for now?
Yeah.
I can't remember all of this
We
anyway.
have more services to make announcements if we forgot anything.
Yes, so just show up for all the services and you'll hear all the announcements. Excited about that. We're going to conclude our service with Yigdal, page 53.
יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח נמצא בעיני המציאותו אחד ואין יחיד כי ייחודו נעלם וגם אין סוף לאחדותו אין לו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף לא נערוך אליו קדושתו כמון לכל דבר אשר נברא ראשון בין ראשית לראשיתו, הינו אדון עולם וכל נוצר, יורה גדולתו מלכותו, שפע נבואתו נתנו, אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו, לא קם ישראל כמו שעוד, נביא ומביט את אמונתו, תורת אמת נתן לעמואל, על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו, לא יחליף האל ולא ימיר דתו, לעולמים לזולתו, צופה ויודע סתרנו, מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו, גומל לאיש חסד כמפעלו, נותן לרשע רע כרישתו, ישח לקץ ימין משיחנו, לפתור מחכה קץ ישועתו, מתים יחייל ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו, מתים יחייל ברוב חסדו, ברוך הדיין שם תהילתו. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi. What a blessing.
shalom.
Thank you so much.
Shabbat shalom.